Hi, I'm Dino Cazares. I've been playing guitar, 7 string, 8 string guitar, for roughly about 20 years. And I used to be in a very big band called Fear Factory, and also a band called Brujeria. And now I'm in a band called Asesino, and I'm working on a new project. But, through my website and through my MySpace page, a lot of kids definitely let me know that I've influenced them one way or another, whether it's being Hispanic or whether it's being just a guitar player. But I hear very similar riffs out there. A lot of people, a lot of new bands that are coming out nowadays are definitely inspired a lot of from a lot of the old guitar players, a lot of old bands and stuff like that. And I hear my riffs out there once in a while. I think it's really cool when people pay respect and give me that respect.
Yeah.
And it's influenced. I think it's influenced some people. Yeah. My biggest influence was probably uh, Angus Young, of course, Dimebag Darrell, and James Hetfield back in the day, Metallica. But I was also very influenced by other artists like The Edge from U2, and also my mother. My mother was a very big influence and very much influenced me to go this direction, and basically to follow my heart, and that's what I did. We did, when I was at Fear Factory, we did 96, 97, and 99 Ozfest. And that was a completely different vibe back then. It was a new tour starting out, and it was a lot of fun, you know, and it wasn't so corporate as it is now. Nowadays, the laminate has a barcode on it, and just to go get a drink of water or something to eat, they scan the barcode and make sure that it's really you. Back then when I was doing it, it was a lot more freedom. People were partying with each other. Everybody was coming to everybody's buses, and we were stealing golf carts and crashing them into trash cans and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? There was a lot more freedom, and now it's very corporate, and you can't do much. And I used to go on stage every night, and I used to jam with Pantera and go jam with Deftones on stage, and guys from Deftones and Head PE and Cold Chamber would come on our stage and jam. And I kind of really don't see that much at all, really, on Ozfest. Now it's like seems like there's drama. You got Sharon Osbourne fighting, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden and throwing eggs, and just people are just like, it's kind of gone a different direction. But definitely liked it better, when we were on it. Played right after I left Fear Factory. I had this Mexican band called Brujeria, and we started that back in 1989, and I was doing that for a little while, and I kind of left that to concentrate on a group that I was doing called Asesino, which means assassin in Spanish, and we released one record called Corridos de Muerte, which means Tales of Death, and released a new record called Cristo Satánico, which means Satanic Christ. Um, and I'm also working on another project with Tim Young, who was in a band called Vital Remains, Hate Eternal, and Nile. And I'm working with this kid named Tommy from Vexed, and we're demoing songs and we're shopping our new band. I haven't got we haven't come up with a name yet, but we're working on that right now. Well, Monty Connor was the one who kind of came up with the concept. Monty Connor's the A&R guy at Roadrunner Records, and he thought it'd be really great to get all these artists together and for the 25th anniversary of Roadrunner Records. And he called me up one day and he's like, "Hey, would you like to be a part of this?" And I thought the idea was amazing. And he says, "Well, you get to pick, whoever you want." He sent me a list of all these musicians that were on Roadrunner or previously on Roadrunner. And the first guy I called was Roy Mayorga. And I was definitely greatly honored from Monty Connor even considering me for the position to do, to be the team captain. Anyway, so I called Roy up, and Roy came down, and we just started jamming, and it just felt really well. And then, I called Andreas Kisser from Sepultura, and he came down, he started playing. And we just kind of put these songs together, and it came out really good. We got different singers on it. And then we decided to do a live show. And the live show was a really, really big headache because we had about more than 60 guys all getting together and jamming, and we had to learn 1 to 2 songs from each band that was on Roadrunner. And I had to learn 24 songs. And it was fun. It was a lot of hard work, but a lot of fun at the same time. I got to jam with guys I never got to jam with before, like Joey from Slipknot, and Paul from Slipknot, and people like that. So it was definitely a great collaboration. It's really hard to say what my favorite is because I like everything. I mean, I like, most of the stuff that I do. I mean, I do it because I love it. You know what I mean? I have favorite songs, but I can't say that I have a favorite band that I've done. The most work I've done was obviously Fear Factory and Brujeria, and now Assassino. You know, I'm catching up to those two bands, and now the new band. So it's really hard to. One of the hard things about being in those different kinds of bands is trying to make them sound different. You know, Brujeria is one of those bands where it's all in Spanish, and we try to keep it as simple as possible and raw as possible. Whereas when I was at Fear Factory, we try to keep it as mechanical and as tight as possible. You know, and you know we in Fear Factory we use a lot of sampling, we use a lot of computers. You know, we did a lot of a lot of editing and stuff like that. Where Brujeria, we just kind of kept it, pressed record on the tape and said go. Whatever came out came out. Whatever mistakes you made, that's it. You only get one chance. We just try to keep it raw like that, and it's really hard to do the two different things. And that's the same thing that I'm doing with my new bands now. Is now I got Assassino. It's got the same type of vibe, and now the new band that I'm doing with Tim and Tommy, it's a lot more tighter, a lot more technical. It's cool. I don't know. Back in the day when I first started and I was younger, I used to put ankle weights on my wrist. You know, back then when I was like 15, the ankle weights you had to like, put them on like with some kind of weird lace and stuff. You had to tighten them up. They're really heavy. They're like a good maybe 2.5 pounds each. Then I used to put electrical tape around these little parts right here on my fingers, and then I used to try to play. You know, and it was hard to press down on the strings because I had electrical tape that didn't let me bend my fingers. And then I had the weight, so I was like, ugh, until I built up all my muscles here. Then when I took it off, it was like on both sides. And so that's kind of like how I got fast. And I did that for a year or two until I got really fast, until I was able to pick even faster. And it was even like a couple years ago I tried it again, and it really helped me a lot. Passion of music. It's in my blood. It's in my heart. Um, and music definitely has changed. I mean, what's old is new, and what's new is old. It's kind of weird where metal music is going. But for me, it's always in my heart, and that's just what I do. That's what I know, and that's what I love. Keep playing, keep practicing with those ankle weights. And I got an 8-string guitar now, and I'm definitely experimenting with that a lot. Ivan has definitely hooked me up, and there's music is just endless, and you never stop learning, and that's what I really love about it. That every day I play guitar, I learn something new, or a new chord progression, or just you know new structure, new song structure, and things like that. And it's very intriguing to me. And it's in my blood. Like I said, it's in my blood. It's in my heart, and that's what I love. And that's what I know. Yeah, 8-string guitar.
Wow.
It's tuned to a F sharp, a low F sharp. A lot of people have a hard time understanding 6-string, and then a lot of people had a hard time adjusting to 7-string, and then now 8-string. Some people just don't know how to. It's just a little bit too much for them to think about. You know what I mean? I like it because it definitely challenges me, and a lot of people ask me questions about it on a daily basis. How do you do that? How do you do that? I want one. I want one. And actually, when Ibanez first made it, they made it for a band called Meshuggah, and obviously I saw it, and I had to get one, so I got one. And Steve Vai. So there's only 3 guys right now three artists that have it. It's Meshuggah, myself, and Steve Vai. Now the guys in Corn are gonna get some. Monkey wants one, and I saw him making it yesterday. And I don't know, I love it. It's crazy. It opens a lot more doors. Well, if it's in your heart, you're not gonna give up. You know what I mean? 'Cause there's a lot of fake artists who come out and they try to be a musician. They're not really musicians. They're not. I mean, you don't have to really be a musician to be a good guitar player. You have to try to come up with something new. You know what I mean? A lot of people come out here and they just think that you're going to be an overnight artist, and they can't handle it and they go back home. If it ain't in your heart, it ain't going to work. You know what I mean? And so you just can't give up.